Okay, so we're just going to review probability distributions. Our first question looks like this. So the weight of bags of rice of a normal distribution with a mean of 1,000 grams and standard deviation of 4 grams. So this is clearly normal distribution question. Normal distribution questions are easy to spot. They talk about standard deviation and mean. And then you know where you're going, especially if you see standard deviation in the probability. We're talking about a normal distribution. So find the probability that a bag of rice is chosen at random weighs 990, between 990 grams and 1,004 grams. So what we need to do for this question is firstly put up our model. So our model is that x is a discrete random, a continuous random variable which is normally distributed with a mean of 1,000. Now, in the model, you always have to quote um, the variance, not the standard deviation. So, what is the variance? It's the standard deviation squared. So quote it as the standard deviation. When you're typing it in your calculator, this is where you guys get a bit confused. It only writes to the standard deviation in the calculator. And you get a bit confused between these two. When you're putting this model up, never write what you see on your calculator. Never write norm dist and then the brackets. That's in the wrong mathematical language. Always write the model using this mathematical language. So then we need to find the probability so that x, so we have it between, x is between 990 and 1004. Do a bit of a sketch of it, so show the normal distribution curve. This will help you with understanding for the problem solving questions. So we have the mean here at 1,000, and then we have some kind of an area like this that we're after. 990 is less than 1,000, so 990 is here, and 1,004 is more than 1,000, so it's going to be there. Understanding the symmetry in the normal distribution curve and knowing where your values are help you to spot errors when you make them. Particularly with inverse normal problems. You will make errors with the inverse normal problems more often. And if you know which side the answer is supposed to be and your answer comes out the wrong side, you've made the typical mistake of calculating the left tail and when the question requires it's a right tail. So we can put this into the calculator now and find the answer. So let me just clear my English. So we want to press menu, follow along on your calculators, practice. Menu, 5, 5, and then with normal distribution, you're never going to use number 1. You're never going to use number 1. You're going to use number 2 or number 3. Normal distribution or inverse. If you're finding a probability, it is number 2. It is normal CDF, if you're finding a probability. If you're finding an x value given a probability, then it's number 3, inverse normal. So we need normal CDF. Our lower bound is 990. Our upper bound is 1,004. We have 1,000. And then a standard deviation of 4. Put it into your calculator, press enter. We get a value of 0.835. So the second question, B. 95% of the bags of rice weigh less than K. Find the value of K. So sketch the problem. Sketch the problem. We have 1,000 here. So 95% is going to be all the way up there. So we're calculating this area. Take careful of the small words. So 95 weigh less than K. So the tail is a left tail. and then x equal to k is here, and the area here is 0.95. So this one's fairly easy. It's a straightforward inverse normal problem. And the reason we write the x up here is, what do we expect the x value to be? If you estimate or guess. Is it going to be 900? It's going to be higher than the mean. How much higher? It's almost never going to be more than 3 standard deviations above the mean. In fact, 95% is going to be about 2 standard deviations above the mean. So what's the standard deviation? 2 standard deviations? So the answer would be about 1,008-ish, something around there.
So how do you know those 2 standard deviations?
The normal distribution curve has some specific set points. So 34% of the data is 1 standard deviation either side of the mean. So 2 standard deviations above the mean, we have, but in this particular one, we have 95% of the data. 3 standard deviations are at 99%. We saw that when we introduced the topic. Let me pull up the old notes.
1 standard deviation is like 30 something percent.
Yeah. That's it. Pull up the old notes for you. Here. So a normal distribution curve has these specific values. So from here to here is about 95%, 98%, 2% is more than that. So most of the data is within 1 standard deviation. Nearly all the data is within 2 standard deviations. So it's going to be somewhere around 2 standard deviations above the mean. Okay, so let's put this into our calculator now. It's important to understand those type of concepts for the slightly harder problem-solving questions. The straightforward ones like this is not so hard. So normal distribution, we're doing an inverse normal. The area is 0.95. Notice when you put in your values in, you can put the area, you can put in the mean, and you can put in the standard deviation. But you can't say whether it's to the left or to the right. It's always going to go left tail. So if you're after if you have a question which tells you that 5% is above, you can't enter this one in. You have to calculate 95% is below, and you get the same x value for this one. So that's the harder inverse normal type problems. When the tail looks like this, it's a right tail. You do 1 minus the area, and then calculate the area not given, and you get the same x value. Okay, so putting it in, we will get this number. Rounding this one to 3 significant figures, I wouldn't normally do this for this type of a question. I would give a few extra digits. Because if you round this one to 3 significant figures, you're going to get 1,000. What is it? 1010, which is not really a great number. So we want the probability. So to express this, we've got the probability that x is less than k is equal to 0.95. What I've got here on the board would get you the first of these 2 points. This is the method point. This is the method point. So this implies that k is equal to, and I'm going to quote quite a few digits on that one. Like that one. C. For a bag of rice, the probability that it is A below the mean, between A below the mean and A above the mean is 0.9. Find the value of A. To solve this problem, sketch it. Sketch the norm. This is a hard problem knowing what to do. It's not a standard problem. These are your problem solving type questions that come towards the end. You need these for a 6 or a 7. Oh my. Try and follow. So sketch the problem. How does the sketch look? We know that this is 1,000, and we've got a large area here, which is 0.90. This position here is 1,000 plus A, and this position here is 1,000 minus A. How can we find A? How big is this area here? How big is this area here?
2.6.
No.
0.5. 0.05.
Why?
Because that's 0.5.
And what does that mean?
That means it's 0.05. 0.05.
Why are they the same size? You're right. So, what Silliman says is the red area is equal to 1 minus 0.90, giving us 0.10. And then he says that this area here, area P I'll call it, is equal to 0.10, and he's halving it. So this area here is 0.05. Because it's symmetrical. These two lines are symmetrically distributed either side of the mean, and the whole area is adding up to 1, and the whole area is symmetrical. There's a lot of symmetry. So if this is 0.05, we found that area, then how big is this area here? If I include this red bit in as well, 0.95. So I'll call this area 2. So area 2 is equal to 0.95. We've done that in the last question. In the last question, we know that this value, therefore, is K. We found the area less than 0.95. So what we found at this point from drawing the diagram and thinking through the diagram is that 1,000 plus A is equal to whatever we got in the last question, which is K. So how big is A?
6.57.
6.579.